coming to this part of the world, but I hope your experience has been good so far, and I hope you're just going to have the most awesome time over the next few days. It's hugely hot here. I've got to tell you, you're on the back end of the shoulder of the season. If you've been here, what, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, it was in the high 40s, edging on 50. It was really hot. And it doesn't cool down much overnight. But anyway, I hope you're going to have a fantastic time here. We're hugely privileged to be hosting you here, and it's great to see so many. Just with one quick show of hands, who's from Florida? Anyone from Colorado? Oh, hi. Good to see somebody from Colorado. Great. Look, I just thought I'd start with a little bit of history on this part of the world. I'm an old guy, so I like history, and my dad used to talk to me about it. But 150 years, this part of the world was under the protection of the UK, and that ended in the late 60s as the old British Empire things started to unwind and crumble. But about that time, high-grade oil started to be shipped from this part of the world. We don't refine here, the oil just comes out of the ground and gets pumped into the ships and taken out through the Straits of Hormuz. A little more about that in a second. As the Brits left in the 1960s, a group of the families that ran this part of the world tried to come together and create a sort of federation in order to replace the protectorate that the UK gave. That was partly successful, and that's created the United Arab Emirates, which is where we're hosting you today, which is a group of 7 emirates on the mainland area. We tried at the time, or the rulers at the time tried to bring in the Bahrainis and the Qataris. That wasn't so successful, which is why those are now separate, and it's the UAE. In the UAE, the 2 most prominent families are the Al Nahyans here in Abu Dhabi and the Al Maktoums in Dubai. And I'm sure you're spending time in Dubai, so you'll get to hear those names quite a lot. The transformation since the 1970s has been extraordinary, and I always like to start off with a slide here. This is the Corniche in Abu Dhabi at the top end. Okay, in the 1970s, most of the people drank well water. Okay, there was no desalination plants here in Abu Dhabi. There actually wasn't a proper hospital here in Abu Dhabi. One of the features of being under the protectorate of the UK is that the English don't like to spend money, so we didn't really invest at all in this part of the world. The nearest building with an elevator in 1970 was actually a hotel in Bahrain. Okay, so not even in this part of the region. Now you can see the transformation. So in a very short period, this area has significantly changed. We have a population in Abu Dhabi of about 1.2 million people. I think that puts us somewhere between Jacksonville and Orlando in terms of size, just to give you a sort of sense of that. Obviously, the wealth per capita is huge given the amount of oil that comes out of this part of the world. Interestingly, and different to probably many parts of the world you've ever visited, only 10% of the population here are nationals. Okay, so they're way outnumbered by the expat community, the largest part which comes from our traditional trading partners of India and Pakistan. One of the really exciting things that we're seeing now is that those trading relationships are being extended through the Far East, and we're seeing more and more Chinese individuals and companies coming to set up here in this part of the world and participate in the economy that is the Middle East. And I think that's a very, very exciting and valuable trend for us, and something that I'm sure my colleague Mohammed will talk about a little later. As a result, and a big part of this part of the world, is that the leadership put a huge, huge amount of effort into creating tolerance and harmony. We have a very, very diverse population here, great variety of different people, and that tolerance, that sense of happiness, that sense of everyone working together is really, really important. And I think congratulations to the UAE, because I think really they lead the world in terms of that whole sense of harmony and tolerance. And just as background, I came here in 2004. I was like lots of other expats. I came here on a 2 to 3 year assignment, and I'm still here. So it's a pretty amazing place to have the opportunity to spend time. Let me talk a little bit about Bloom Holding, the company that's hosting you here today. We have a business which is rooted in real estate. We have a big education business, we have hospitality, and we have property services, which helps to maintain and enhance the experience of all of our occupiers and our properties. You'll see some aerial shots. Most of this is pictorial, not too difficult. So, because I know I'm in between you and lunch. We're very much part of assuring the fulfillment of the vision and the strategy for this part of the world. We're a privately owned company. If you tracked, or we're able to track through our ownership, it goes right up through to the royal family. And so it's really important for us to be contributing positively to the future and the success of this part of the world. We started in 2008. You can see the track through there as we went through education into property development. We developed master plan communities. They're really attractive, very beautiful. As we go through our history, this hotel, this development here is one of ours. It's a very significant asset right here in the middle of Abu Dhabi, and we're very proud to be able to have you here in the hotel. There's residences, there's Marriott residences, and there's a commercial office component of this overall building. This isn't going to mean a lot to you unless you're geographic enthusiasts. But this is a map of Abu Dhabi and a map of Dubai. We're active in both of the Emirates. Abu Dhabi is a group of individual islands, like an archipelago. It's a bit bigger than the Keys, but nevertheless, it's the same sort of concept. Highly developed. We're on the main island at the moment, which is where a lot of the activity has been. And now the new activity is in areas like Saadiyat Island, which is where the Louvre is, and where the Guggenheim will soon be, and Yas Island, which is the home of the International Motor Racing Circuit. A lot of interesting theme parks, including Warner Brothers, which is opened last year and has been really greatly successful. Up the road is Dubai. I think you all came from Dubai last night. The iconic development is the Palm. I used to work for an Australian company, and many of my colleagues used to think that the Palm was something that somehow Dubai had superimposed on Google Maps. It is a huge feat. The reason it's here is because the Dubai coastline is only about 25 linear kilometers, and that's not enough to sustain a thriving tourism business. And so land reclamation is a big part of what goes on in this part of the world, as it does in other parts of the world. The difference here is we do funky designs and we make it very pretty. If you haven't been on the Palm, I don't know if you're going, just to give you a sense of size, the trunk of the Palm, the middle bit, is an 8-lane highway. So this isn't small. The tip of the Palm is 5.5 kilometers into the Gulf. Okay? And just down the coastline there's a second Palm which has not yet been developed on top of, but is constructed. The tip of that's 12.5 kilometers into the ocean. So they're very, very sizable feats of engineering brought about by some of the leading international civil engineering firms from around the world. We have our own developments in Dubai, a little way inland from the Palm. In terms of our business, Mohammed Hagazzi is going to come and talk a little bit more about our property development and investment portfolio. I mentioned education. We've partnered with leading educators from around the world. We're absolutely thrilled to have Brighton College from the UK here in our portfolio. Dwight from New York is here in our portfolio. Mind Champs from Singapore is here in our portfolio. Most importantly, and I'll come and talk about it in a moment, is that we're taking private sector employment education into the public sector. So we're now educating not just the expat community, but also the national community. And that's a hugely exciting new development for us. And I'll talk about that in a second. In hospitality, we've got this, the JW Marriott. We've also got the Edition, which I'll talk about. And then we've got our design and management services, enhancing and maintaining the quality of our portfolio. In hospitality, as I said, we've got the JW Marriott, which is here. We're very pleased with the business that we're doing here. It was the first real Marriott here in Abu Dhabi until Marriott and Starwood came together, and suddenly there were 12 Marriotts in this part of the world. But it's the principal prime city centre Marriott hotel, which is really good. Our second hotel is the Edition, also by Marriott. You'll be familiar with the Edition for those of you in Miami. Anyone from London will know the Edition as well. Also, I think from China. It's a fantastic product in partnership with Ian Traeger. It gives the most amazing guest experience around some really, really funky designs. And so we're very proud to have the first Edition in this part of the world. And it is also trading. It's a beautiful building, and it's trading exceedingly well. It also includes apartments both under the brand and independently branded. So again, our focus on master plan developments of creating overall communities continues with our hospitality assets. In terms of education, as I said, we've got big partnerships with the international schools. I do think we're doing really well. We've got about 3,500 kids in the international school portfolio in Brighton, Dwight and Mindchaps. As I said earlier, we've been able to start to bring all of our expertise in education to the public sector. That's a huge contribution here for the national community. We've taken and copied some of the things that go on with the charter school concept from America. We've brought it here. The traditional curriculum here is the American curriculum, so the charter school concept works really well here. We started the new term with 3,500 national kids as well, so our total education portfolio is now 7,000 kids, and that we're really proud in terms of all the things that we're achieving on behalf of all of our students and their parents. Finally, we've got our design and management services businesses. And it's really important. We've got a long-term commitment to our owners and our occupiers around the economic, the environmental and the social sustainability of our developments. And it's really important in this part of the world. You can imagine our climate is not the easiest one to work in, so keeping everything clean and tidy, dust-free, sand-free, making sure the landscaping is good, making sure the buildings are all kept in good repair, making sure, for goodness sake, that the air conditioning is working. These are all really important things for us and significantly add to the value of all that we do, our experience of our occupiers and our owners, and the fabric of the buildings. Last of all, I thought this was kind of interesting. We're working with Regis at the moment on flexible workspace. Bizarrely, Abu Dhabi through the Sovereign Wealth Fund and Saudi Arabia through their Sovereign Wealth Funds are huge investors through the Vision Fund in WeWork. Okay? So we know that at some point collaborative workspace through WeWork is going to come here. We have some regulatory framework that actually prevents it happening despite being huge investors in the concept. But for sure, the focus on new entrepreneurial opportunities for everyone to come and be successful in this part of the work will really, really appeal to an opportunity like we work with these collaborative workspaces. It's very much the future, and we're, like in all of our activities, we're right at the forefront of looking at those trends and trying to find opportunities to serve new customers, new clients, new occupiers in our buildings. I'm going to pass over to Mohammed, our head of sales and leasing. It's just a great pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for being here with us today. We are very pleased to have you. And I'm going to take you in a quick presentation about our developments and our project in Bloom Properties. Bloom Properties formed in 2008 and perceived as a leading regional real estate developer, delivering integrated developments and premium communities in well-positioned locations in the UAE. During the last decade since we formed Bloom Properties, we did 18 projects, 15 in Abu Dhabi and 4 projects in Dubai. In Abu Dhabi, in 2010, we introduced our success story of the Bloom Gardens, located in the heart of Dubai. It consists of 457 townhouses and villas, and it's all occupied, and it has 100% occupancy. It's equipped with all needed facilities. It has nearby school, and it has malls, swimming pools, fitness center, security service 24/7. Price varies at that time between $800,000 and $1 million. After the success of Bloom Gardens, phase 1, 2, and 3, we introduced Fire, which is phase 4 of the Bloom Gardens. Again, it's a closed community with 132 3- and 5-bedroom townhouses, has all the facilities, swimming pools, shopping malls, nearby school, fitness center, security service 24/7. Bloom Marina is one of our iconic projects. It is overlooking the beautiful marina in Al Butain area. It consists of 3 buildings, First building is the Edition Hotel. Second building has 57 service apartments. And the third building is residential unit.